sometimes I expect to see order, like one thing starts, one thing stops, and then I see randomness all the time, with the lava.
Forward. That was pretty crazy.
Those are big.
I like. Sorry, I slid onto you there a bit.
I got it. It went under me. It went over me.
But that's that special soil too. Yeah.
No. It is not scary. Do you want it to be scary?
No.
No, this is not scary. This is called By the Light of the Silvery Moon. Heard this one at the post office the other day. A woman from Newark, New Jersey, let's call her Edith, dragged downstream by her adventurous younger sister Hazel of 68 years, appeared down at the boats an hour or so after sunset. A big, beautiful full moon was rising high above the canyon, leaving the camp whitewashed in gorgeous, thick, reflected light. Edith was seriously annoyed. After a lengthy discussion, she and Hazel decided to skip the tent and sleep out under the naked starlight. Hazel was planning to search out Cassiopeia, but the full moon was putting out more light in the Vegas Strip, wiping the stars from view. And Edith, ready for rest after a full day of fun, could not keep her eyes closed. They kept opening of their own accord, apparently under the mistaken impression that it was already morning. Boys! Boys! Are you still awake out there? Of course they were, knocking back the old Wellers and telling tall tales from their arsenal of boat boy stories. The Buzz brothers, hard at play after earning an honest day's pay, were suddenly silent. But Edith could see them, sitting there, bathed in the glorious moonlight, which was closer to bath than one or two of them had had in several days. Hello out there! You got a problem, ma'am? Yes! Yes, I most certainly do! I'm on it, Toad volunteered, scoring a few points with his pards. He rose like a tortoise and picked his way over the legs and rubbered ashore into the wailing woman. Son, I am sorry to bother you, but I cannot sleep for that moon. It is far too bright. That's a full moon for you, ma'am. Big and bold and far too bright. Now you gotta know you lucked out, Edith. Not every trip gets a full moon. Well, we don't like it. Hazel can't find her constellations, and I can't keep my eyes closed. What would you suggest I do about it, ma'am? Toad belched. Edith waved her hand to clear the air in front of her face and answered, well, put it out, of course. Get rid of the light. Something. We need our sleep. A soft wind blew through the camp and carried a thought into the dulled yet somehow brilliant mind of the boatman. Toad looked around for an appropriate tool and found the perfect specimen waiting on a ledge not 2 feet from his cracked toes. He picked up the small chunk of limestone and offered it to Edith. Here, honey, go ahead. You do the honors. This rock here was made to fly. You can wind her up and put him out of our misery. Poor old Mr. Moon, put him in his place. But before you do, I must say, ma'am, with all due respect, you look absolutely radiant tonight. Standing there in the moonlight with your hair all mussed up like it is, absolutely radiant. Radiant? She asked. Radiant, that is the only word for it. She put one hand over her mouth and giggled. Toad reached out carefully, took her other hand, and placed the weapon of destruction in her palm, as though it were a daisy. Edith's fingers closed over the rough edges. She winked at the boatman, came close to kissing him on the cheek, but he belched again in the nick of time. Edith laughed out loud. Good night, Toad, she whispered. Sweet dreams, ma'am. Edith wiggled a handful of fingers in Toad's direction and set out to find her sleeping bag. Past blooming prickly pears, sparse grasses, and sleeping red ants, she carried her trophy of limestone and sang a little tune, barely distinguishable from her breathing. When she found her sister, Hazel was already sound asleep by the light of the silvery moon.